Let's start with depictions. So a depiction is sort of like a road map, except for they depict an ecological or a methodological system. So they are really the most visual of the graphics, and it's key to capture that essence of the system while not getting bogged down by the details. So we have those two approaches, the systematic and the heuristic. The systematic would take a hierarchical ranking of the information, starting at the most important and leaving sort of that rest to be figured out on their own. It's good for those that have a personal stake. The heuristic is really that imagery, right? It's that vividness, the visual vividness, bold blurbs, realistic imagery. So when we look at a depiction, what's the difference between a depiction and a process? So in a depiction, we explain what the system is, not really how it works. And a process, therefore, is explaining the procedure. All right, so let's take a peek at some here. Again, when we look at this, we see that we're breaking down this scene into simple components. There really is, when we're looking at depictions, the elimination of the pen stroke. We don't have a stroke around the objects. I call it that coloring book effect. Instead, we have some shading, attempt at some realistic shading in these images. So you do want to try to use realistic images. People have to be able to identify what it is that you're showing. You need to have a main point, typically with some sort of a blur box or a pointer box. And here you can see we have reversals of black, white on black. That is a reversal pointer box. We're going to remove those non-essential elements. And the key thing with these depictions is that they appeal to both that are people that are involved and those that are uninvolved, because it can contain both the visual data metaphors and the simplicity. We don't want to use depictions when processed graphics are needed instead. We don't want to use depictions when a photograph could be used instead. And you know, if reality is needed, you can't simplify it for the reader, then a photo would be used. So that's your thought process here. Should I just use a photo, or can I use a depiction?